All right, Hokie Nation, the day that you have awaited has arrived, and the man himself sits along with Mike Burnop and I. And Coach, let us be the latest to say welcome to Blacksburg, welcome back home to you and your family. But when I introduce you as Virginia Tech head football coach Brent Pry, what goes through your mind?
Surreal. Just being back, and I'm standing up at that podium and looking down at Coach Beamer, and it's hard to believe that I'm sitting in his shoes, and it's a great honor. It's humbling, exciting. It's really a dream come true. There's not many places that I'd want to be the head coach at, and this would rank at the top of that short list. So very proud to be here.
Why was it? Why was Virginia Tech the right fit? I mean, you were here back in 1995, kind of where it all started. You kind of cut your teeth.
I sure did. Yeah, there's just certain places that you identify with. And just what Coach Beamer meant to me, and what Bud and those guys, Steinspring and Billy Height and all those guys, just shaped me as a young coach. And I wanted to be like them, and hope to have the success that they had. And Virginia Tech is just there's a no nonsense and a blue collar feel, and I love the defensive mindset here. And and the fan base is phenomenal. Embrace the heck out of this football team, and the people in this community are phenomenal. Not a lot unlike what I just experienced the last 8 years in Happy Valley. It was easy to say yes.
Coach, I'm glad you referenced Happy Valley. Earlier you said you consider James Franklin a brother, and certainly that was sincere. We could sense the emotion in that. And I think all of us in Hokie Nation, from a little bit afar, admired what you guys did at Penn State, because you had such success blending that vast tradition and history while also recognizing the game has modernized and evolved. How much of that can you bring here to Virginia Tech?
I think that's going to be important to what we do. I think there's a sense of that can carry over, that I'll bring with me, and because there's so much great tradition here. And but at the same time, you got to keep moving forward, keep growing, and this game is changing all the time right now, and you better change with it. And at the same time, embrace our past and our traditions, and because that's what makes us special, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. So.
You must have an incredibly long list of things to do, on top of which must be finding the staff and whatnot. But how difficult is that going to be, and how hard is it going to be for you, being a defensive coordinator, not to be out there maybe calling plays like you've been doing?
Well, I might be at least in year one. We'll see. I mean, I'm not making any promises. But there's a lot of guys that would love to be coaching at Virginia Tech, and my inbox is flooded with calls and respectable coaches that have been doing it a long time the right way. And this is a special place, as I mentioned, and so I'm going to make sure we bring the right people in that recognize how special it is and feel privileged to be here. Guys that can be trusted to do things the way we want to do them. This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about developing these young men and embracing this community and treating people the right way. And so we're gonna take our time and make sure we get the right people in the door.
Coach, you of course have a personal history with a number of former players in this program, including one to your right there, and Mike Burnop, who you spent time around. It's amazing he hasn't aged a day, by the way, since then, isn't it?
He looks the same.
And J.C. Price,
yeah.
I know you were here while he was a player, and so many other greats in that era that really started to define Virginia Tech football. Right. How important is the alumni base going to be, and how can you incorporate them into what you're doing going forward with, like Mike said, you have so much going on already?
Well, listen, the former players, to me, it's at the top of the list. These guys have done so much for this university and have meant so much. They're going to be a very important piece to what we do here. I don't know how you don't include them in when you're talking about how we're going to, get this program back where it belongs. They're a big part of it, and a lot of them have reached out. It's been awesome, sending messages or making phone calls, and I'm going to make sure that they understand that I know how important they are and how much I want them to be part of this program.
Coach, in this day and time, managing the roster has changed so much over the years, and you think about now you got the recruiting class you got to try to concentrate on keeping, and you got the transfer portal, the bowl game, and this, that, and the other. How do you manage it? How do you approach that?
Yeah, it's a daily discussion. Your roster management is critical. I think that's something that, I learned well from James. It was a daily discussion, and you gotta anticipate things, and you gotta pay attention to detail, and you gotta plow through it, because it's almost like a swinging door to a degree, and there's just so much fluidity that you have to be on top of it. You don't want your roster to slip, and you look out there and all of a sudden you don't have what you need. And so that's as the head coach, that's my job, to make sure it's where it needs to be.
Coach, earlier you spoke emotionally about your dad, and I think that moved a lot of people that were watching, including me, a few rows deep there, because of the relationship that you had, being the son of a coach, and as you've proclaimed him a journeyman coach as well, that grinded it out through his career and changed so many lives. How did that mold you?
Yeah, that's a big part of who I am. A big part of why I'm attracted to Virginia Tech. That's what I see in Tech. This is about these young men and the relationships with them and helping them achieve their dreams. And Virginia Tech is a great place to do that. And I just how much it warmed my dad to see these guys have success. His players, and then to see him embrace them, and when there was a loss or tough times, it just to me, that's what it's all about, being there for these guys and doing it together, and the sense of brotherhood, and that's what that I've always identified with Virginia Tech, and I think that's what we had when I was here, and I think that's what's special about this game, and the same reason that Virginia Tech means so much to you now. It's that brotherhood, and in the time in that locker room and on that practice field and in that weight room, and sense of shared hardship, and just pouring it all in and investing together in something bigger than yourself.
Speaking of that, the facilities, this place has changed a little bit since you were here in '95.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it.
Could you even find your way around Blacksburg, and then all the
recognize
facilities now? What are your thoughts on that?
I used to park my old jalopy right where the new indoor facility is, So
And now you got a new jalopy.
yeah.
And it flies.
I'm impressed with what's been done, and it's a great looking place, and there's so many resources here for the kids, and coming from a place like Penn State, where we've invested so much, and James has pushed so hard to get things the right way, and so I've got a good idea, a good plan of what we need, and the direction things need to go, and Whit's been outstanding. Just the commitment to things on the front end, and just it's there's a lot of good things in place, but obviously you can't ever stand still with this stuff. From a facility standpoint, you got to always be moving forward and investing in the program.
Coach, since the second news broke that you were the head coach of Virginia Tech football, I've been hit up by any number of fans saying we were pride and joy for decades on special teams. If we just change the spelling to Pryde, can we bring that back? Would Coach be open to it?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's funny. One spring at Penn State, they had I got a ton of family in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and they showed up to the spring game with these T-shirts on with my face on it that said Altoona Pride, Pryde, and I was like, "No, you didn't." And then my daughters would wear them around the house as nightshirts, So, I tell you, it's the fan base is so important to me, and I want them to identify with me and identify with our staff and our players, and they're part of this thing, and we need that group, and I want them to know that they're part of it, and whatever it takes. So,
Coach, how about Amy, your wife, and your 3 kids? What are their impressions of so far what's happened and the whirlwind they've been under here?
I wasn't surprised the least that we got a tremendous welcome, a very warm welcome. With when you've got an 11 and a 13-year-old that are going to have to move and leave their friends, you got a 19-year-old that's a sophomore at Penn State that we're working on him. Even Dr. Sands was working on him to transfer to Virginia Tech, but it's challenging for your family. Everybody's asking me about the staff and this and the team and recruiting, so I'm glad to hear you ask. That's a big part of it. I'm a gigantic family man, and the move's a big transition for us. We've been in State College for 8 years. That's all my daughters really know. So, to have the warm welcome and just a sense of family and was heartwarming to me. And I think it really made a difference for my kids and my wife.
Coach, you mentioned Altoona, Pennsylvania. I actually lived there for a couple of years in my own journey and worked in State College a little bit. And I only bring that up because I make the comparison between Virginia Tech and Penn State, the fan base you were just referencing, the passion and just the way of life for a lot of people there. Do you see those comparisons too? And is that what helped make this the right fit for you?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons I was, one of the several reasons I was at Penn State for as long as I was, what I identified with there, I obviously see in Virginia Tech and in Blacksburg. And I think what made this extra special was just the history here and, the sense of, at least some small degree, some sense of ownership in what this place is all about. And you want to go back to invest and see it, be what it can be. You feel tied to it, and it's extra important to you, I think. There's something special about a place that you've spent time at and you want to see do well. So, but yeah, there's some real similarities. And I think the blue-collar attitude and the sense of workmanship and the sense of family. And, I know when I go down in Lane Stadium, there'll be there's fans in blue jeans and VT sweatshirts and out of their seats and cheering. And, and that's what, to me, that's what it's about and the way it should be. You don't sit in the stands and,
Some places you do.
I know, and that's not a place for me. I don't want to be there.
Coach, it didn't take long to reach out to J.C. Price. Just talk about the job he did in tough circumstances the last few weeks and getting that win over UVA, how important that was.
Yeah, doesn't that embody what Virginia Tech's all about, though, right?
Absolutely.
Staring adversity right in the face and go get a big win over your rival. And I'm not surprised that J.C. was able to pull that off and lead the guys that direction. J.C.'s an outstanding coach, an outstanding person. He embodies Virginia Tech, and I'm super proud and happy that he wants to stay here and help us do this.
Well, Coach, I know you've got a million things literally on your to-do list today and in the days
Close
to
to
come, but the fans that will watch this really appreciate your time,
Glad
as
to
do
do
we, of course. And on their behalf, everyone in Hokie Nation, we want to once again say congratulations, welcome home, not just to you, but to your lovely family as well. Welcome back to Blacksburg.
Appreciate it. And go Hokies.
That's right.
There it is. Coach Brent Pry, what a day it is here as a new chapter of Virginia Tech football opens.